Alright, time for some more 357 and something a little bit niche, but something that I think is becoming more popular as of lately on the internet. A commenter on the channel by the name of Joel, I believe. If I got that wrong, I apologize. Has commented a couple times interested in subsonic, heavy for caliber, expanding 357 loads. And as you guys know, my Henry single shot is cut down to 16 inches and threaded for use of a suppressor, so that's something I'm very interested in also. So I went and picked up some Hornady 180 grain XTPs, standard. Uh, Looking into it, my Henry has a 1 in 16 twist, and 180 grain is about the heaviest bullet that it can reliably stabilize. It's more about the length of the bullet rather than the weight, but 180 grain is about as much as I should be able to regularly stabilize. And when we're talking subsonic velocities, we're talking small powder charges. So, of all the pistol powders that I have here, H110 is going to give us the highest volume of powder for the velocity number, if that makes sense. Basically, we're going to be working with small powder charges. We want to take up as much of the case as possible so we don't have a bunch of empty case in there shaking around, because that can lead to erratic velocities and burn rates and funky stuff like that. So we're going to be using H110, the Hornady 180 XTP. I've shot 180 XTPs with H110 out of this rifle in the past, all supersonic of course, but I have a little bit of an idea on powder charges and velocities from the rip, and that's where this is going to get interesting. So I'm going to be shooting the charge weights of 9.3, 9.6, 9.9, 10.2, and 10.5 grains of H110. Pretty small. This is a 38 special case, and this is a 357 Magnum case. The bearing surface on this bullet to the cantilever is about 0.4 to the bottom of the cantilever, and this is our middle charge weight of 9.9 grains. So if I put this in the 357 Magnum case, we're touching the powder at about 0.75. If I take that same powder charge and put it in the 38 special case, 0.5. So that means if we use a 357 case, there's going to be about a 1/4 inch of air gap inside there, where if we run this in a 38 special case, there's going to be only 1/10 of an inch. So I guess we're making some kind of hybrid between a 38 special and a 357 Magnum. I don't know what you'd call that. Maybe a 357 special or a 38 Magnum, or just some sort of 38 special plus B plus. Put it in the comments down below what you think. And this works because it's going in a single shot 357 rifle, but you shouldn't try this at home, and you definitely shouldn't put it in a 38 special. Not too worried about cartridge overall length, just seating these to the cantilever, but they ended up being about 1.45. I'm just finishing it off with a light taper crimp because it's going in a rifle and not a revolver, so I don't necessarily want to crimp into the cantilever. I'm basically just getting rid of the flare in the case mouth from when we seated the bullets. So I've actually recently had the threads and the crown redone on this rifle by Mark Mousey of Tactical Creed. He did a great job. The threads are a lot nicer now. He did a 11-degree target crown, and this is the first 3 shots with the rifle since he's done the work, so I'm super happy with that. And I'll put his information up here, so if that's something you're interested in, you could contact him. He's local here in Utah. Alright, now for the question that me, Joel, and everyone's been waiting for. We blew open the first jug, got passed through on the second jug, went into the big one, so it should be inside here. Here's the recovered 180 grain XTP, and it is in fact expanded. So all in all, I'd call that a success. Right where I wanted to be on velocity happened to be the best group out of all of them, right at 1090 feet per second. The bullet did expand to about 50 caliber, which is pretty decent, and it retained most of its weight at 175 grains, so it's going to have some punch. It's going to penetrate real good. So I think that's a pretty successful expanding subsonic hunting load. If hopefully you found this useful, and if you did and you want to see more videos like this, I'd appreciate it if you hit the like and subscribe button. It's free, it costs you nothing, and I hope to see you around.